I'd say 75% white and 25% minority.
At Penn State is 70% white population and 30% minorities.
It's not diverse at all. Probably like 70% white.
I'd say they give somewhat fair opportunities, but I think it depends on how many people are applying, and I feel that a lot more, the majority of the applicants are white, and that's why there's not as much of a diverse.
Minorities do have an equal opportunity as any other group of people when it comes to admissions. Unfortunately, like the numbers, I feel like people are given an equal opportunity, like equal chance to apply. It's just if you meet the requirements, I guess.
Obviously I don't know the exact numbers of people that apply and anything like that, so all this is going to be opinion based. I just want to let that be known first. When I was graduating high school, I graduated with the intent of going to any college that would let me in a way. And a lot of my other friends, they didn't have the grades. A lot of my other African American friends and other minority friends didn't have the grades to actually get into Penn State, and they went to a lot of community college and things like that. And I know for me, I had the grades to get in, but I didn't think I was getting in because none of my other friends could. Then when I told everybody I applied, nobody really believed me that I was actually going to get in. When I got in, nobody actually believed me either. So it was kind of weird to see the fact that not a lot of people apply to Penn State, not a lot of minorities apply to Penn State, and especially the fact that if they don't have the grades to get into Penn State anyway, then it's completely irrelevant to think like, does Penn State give us opportunity when in actuality we aren't qualified. A lot of us aren't qualified, and this is just my opinion. A lot of my friends and things like that were not actually qualified to get into Penn State. So it's not like we all had 4.0s and applied to Penn State and then half us got cut out or all of us got accepted. It just wasn't like that. So I don't actually know if they really do, because I don't really think Penn State has the opportunity to see the great pool of minorities to come in.
Affirmative action is, I think it's when the admissions process has to fill a certain quota of like ethnicities. So some ethnicities will be given an advantage in the admissions process.
Affirmative action is giving like equal opportunities to groups that are like underrepresented, and in things such as like employment and admission to college, and in order to like not have discrimination.
It's like giving preference to minorities, like to counteract wrongdoings in the past.
Okay.
Do you want me to explain? I mean, it's not, I guess contrary to belief, it's not necessarily a quota system. It's just basically if I'm an employer or an admissions officer, if I have a Caucasian applicant and a black applicant, I mean, they will both be weighed based on the same qualifications. I mean, they would both have equal qualifications. It's just to diversify the student body or applicant pool, whatever, I would take the African American applicant over the Caucasian. I mean, but it's not to say that the African American applicant isn't as qualified as the Caucasian. They're both on equal playing grounds.
No. Why? Because Penn State is not nearly as diverse as a lot of other schools.
I think affirmative action has been somewhat successful, but I believe Penn State could be a lot more diverse.
I feel like they try. I mean, they're making strides to diversify the student body more. I mean, there's other factors that come into play, especially like economic situations. I feel like they do accept a lot of minority students to diversify the student body, but unfortunately, I just learned a statistic the other day that only 27% of Penn State students in general get scholarships here, and during like these economic times, it's hard to pay for school in the first place, especially for minorities, just for whatever background they may come from. Most or some do come from, urban cities and whatnot, so it's greater constraints against them in the first place to be able to pay for school. So I feel like that's a bigger constraint.
System, and like I don't really know any other races too much, but I know like African Americans and Latinos, a lot of them go through and don't actually even finish. Like obviously there's economic reasons, like financial reasons, things like that. But the thing about it is there's scholarships for people that get good grades. So in my opinion, I don't really think as a whole African Americans and Latinos work hard enough to finish school a lot of the times. I feel like we don't as a whole don't work hard enough. So it's just work to a fault. Like we're in here, but then we never even finish anyway. So
why don't you think you guys like work hard enough?
I have no clue. I think it's a lot of culture issues. I think it's a lot of financial issues. A lot of times, like for example, I barely even made it through the semester. I just made it through. Like I just got the right loans I could to make it through. So that's another issue. Like but a lot of times, some of the times, it's a lot of the culture that we're in, and we glorify things that we shouldn't necessarily glorify. Instead of glorifying grades, we glorify material things and parties and girls, and that after we leave here, like, what do we have? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we can't. I don't know. In my opinion, I feel like we get in, and instead of paving the way to make affirmative action kind of go away, and just try to say like, oh, we're smart enough to get in, and we stay in, and we're scholars now. A lot of us just drop out. Obviously, a lot of us for financial reasons, so I don't want to put any blame on that. But again, like a lot of us like don't have really the greatest GPAs and the greatest. We don't work hard enough to actually warrant this education that we're getting, in my opinion.